This is level K, list 4, and we're doing the day 1 page. You need to choose a coloured highlighter, so we're ready to start marking the sounds in these words. So in these words, we're looking at the A making it schwat sound. So we tend to say, let's read them as we say them, and then we'll go and read them as they should sound. So up lone, up live, up wake, up larm, up bout, up long, up cross, up sleep, up frayed, up round. Now we know that because there's only one consonant after that A sound, we should be giving it a long sound. So it should be A lone, A live, A wake, A larm, A bout, A long, A cross, A sleep, A frayed, A round. But we don't do that. We give it a schwat sound. So let's go through and highlight that A so we know that that's a letter in this word that we're giving the schwat sound to. We're giving it a bit of a grunt, or we're shortening off that A to an up sound. Now there's some other things that we need to highlight in these words. So let's go and choose another colour. And A lone or up lone, we've got the E making that previous vowel make a long sound here and here. It's a long I sound now, a long A sound. We've got the AR making the R sound, the OU making the OW sound, the ng at the end of the word. Short vowel, we put 2 S's after that. We've got a long E sound with the double E. We've got the long AAI here, and here we've got the OU coming through again. So that's about all we've got to colour in those words. Perhaps one other thing is, you know that if you have a long vowel sound followed by a k, you know you have to use a K for the k sound after a long vowel sound. So just be aware of that one as well. Right, let's go through and look at the meanings of these words. So we've got alone means just one person, there's not anyone else around. Alive means that something isn't dead, it's alive, it's able to live and grow. Awake means that your eyes are open and you're not sleeping anymore. So awake and asleep would be opposites. They would be antonyms. Okay, alarm is like a siren or a sound that you hear. It might be to frighten robbers away, or it might be to wake you up or to remind you about something. About is when you're learning information related to something, or you're doing something in relation to something else. So about. Along might be when you're walking along a path. Across is when you're moving from one side of an area to another side, such as walking over a bridge. We've talked about asleep. Afraid means when you're scared or frightened of something, and around means every side of something. So if you go around the world, you're going to every side of it. If you go around the block, you're going to all sides of the block of land near your house. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words and write them. And we're going to write them 3 times and check them to make sure that we've spelled them correctly. Make sure you've got your little bit of paper to cover with. So we're going up, lone, up, lone, up, lone. A-L-O-N-E, A-L-O-N-E, A-L-O-N-E. Now, that time I gave that the schwat sound. Sometimes when you're sounding to spell, you might give that letter the name, the sound that it should have. So let's try that with this one. So we might go A-live, A-live, A-live. So we're giving it long sound. And then we'd go A-L-I-V-E, A-L-I-V-E, A-L-I-V-E. Cover it and write it 3 times. And don't forget when you finish to go back and check that you've written it correctly. This is level K, list 4, and we're doing the day 2. And here we're talking about the schwat sound that the A is making at the start of all of these words. If we pronounce these words correctly, we would give that a long A sound, but we don't. So we give it a bit of a grunt sound. So we instead of saying alone, we go alone. Instead of saying alive, we go uplive. Instead of saying awake, we go upwake. So that's what's happening. We're changing that from a long A sound to a schwat sound, but you have to know to write an A at the start of all these words for that sound. Okay, so let's have a look at what the words are. We've got alone, alive, awake, alarm, about, along, across, asleep, afraid, around. So they're all starting with the A. You can highlight that in. And then there's some other things in these words as well. So in alone, we've got the E at the end making the previous vowel making its long sound O. In alive, we've got the E making the I make its long sound I. In awake, we've got the E making the previous vowel A make its long sound A. Alarm, we've got the AR for the R sound. In about, we've got the OU for the R sound. In along, we've got the NG at the end. Across, we've got a short vowel sound, so we're ending it with double S on the base word. Asleep, we've got two E's for the long E sound. Afraid, we've got the AI for the long A sound. And in around, we've got the OU for the OW sound. So a fair bit of revision in this list for you. Now, and don't forget here too, after this long vowel sound here in the A, awake, we know we only use a K after a long vowel sound. So don't forget that little trick as well. Okay, let's read the word sound the words, spell the words, and then write them. So we'll say it to spell because that will make it easier. So we'll actually pronounce that as a long A sound. We know it should be a long A sound because there's only one consonant after it. So that always indicates to us how that vowel sound should be said, whether it's a long or a short vowel. So one consonant after a vowel means it's going to make a long sound. So alone. So if we were saying it alone, alone, and then A-L-O-N-E. You might have to break them up into syllables like I just did to make them easier to sound out. Okay, you can fill the rest of those in on your own. Fill the gaps to make the list words. Well, you know pretty much they're all going to start with an A, so you could go through and do that. And then look up here to make sure that you're filling in those other gaps with the correct letters, because there's a fair bit of revision in this list. Write a list word that means scared. You can work out which word up there would fit best. You can read the rest of those definitions and do that on your own. Fill in the blanks with list words. Mum said it was something time for me to go to bed. You could work out which word would fit in best there and fill in the rest of those sentences as well. This is Level K, Day 4, and we're doing the Day 3 page. And here we're looking at the letter A making a schwat sound at the start of these words. So we've got uplone, uplive, upwake, uplarm, upout, along, across, asleep, afraid, upround. If you want to pronounce them correctly, you would give this A long sound. So it should be alone, alive, awake, alarm, about, along, across, asleep, afraid, around. And if you find these difficult to spell, you might be better off to say to spell, which means that you're going to pronounce that as an A sound rather than a schwat sound. You can choose that, whether you do it as a schwat or a long A sound. So the other things we've got in these words is the E is making that O make a long sound. It's making this I make a long sound, and it's making this A make a long sound. After a long vowel sound, we know we use a K for the kut sound. In alarm, we're using the AR as in car. In about, the owl sound is OU as in out. In along, we've got that ng sound as in wrong or long. In across, we've got a short vowel sound, so we're ending it with two S's. In asleep, we're using the double E for the long E sound. In afraid, we're using the AI for the long A sound. And in around, we've got that OW sound, OU, in there. Okay, you can read those words, sound them, spell them, and write them on your own. We've got, let's just do the first one. You need to break these into syllables to sound them. So alone, so A-L-O-N-E, cover it and write A-L-O-N-E. Then down here we're going to write antonyms. So what's the opposite to awake? Asleep, dead, calm, brave, together. You'll find the answers in your list words at the top. Finish these sentences. I live, so I am alive, etc. You can finish those off. They're quite easy. Now down here you're making a new word, and then you have to write it, and then you're using that word in a sentence so that we know that you know what it means and you've seen its change of structure. You've recognised that it's changed the structure of the word. So we've got alongside, alarming, awakening. Now round or around, you have to read the sentence and work out which would be the better word to use in each one. So would it be round or around? You can work those out on your own and finish that page. This is level K, list 4, and we're doing the day 4 page, and it's all about verb tense. So we've got past and present tense on this page. First one's past tense, bottom one is present tense. So what is a verb? It's an action, and if it's in its past tense, it's an action that has already taken place. We usually add ed to the end of the verb, but some verbs are irregular. So I've given you an example here. Jump is a regular verb because it follows the nice pattern of adding the S, adding the ing, adding the ed to show past tense. But there are some verbs on this page that are irregular. So run, you would have run, runs, running, and here's the irregular part. We don't say he runned to the part, he ran to the part. So because it doesn't follow this normal pattern, we say it's irregular. It's unusual and you have to be aware of them. So here it says the present tense for down the bottom is an action that is happening right now. And you have to add, quite often you add s, es or ing to the end of the verb. So let's try it. Now if you get a highlighter and just go through and highlight the correct answer first, then you can write it in, go back and write them in later. So I waking, woke up very early to the sound of my alarm. Now it's got to be past tense, so we know that we usually add ed to these, but this is an irregular verb. So it would be I woke up very early to the sound of my alarm. So just be aware of that as you go through them. There's quite a few irregular ones in there. The present tense, it says we're adding s, es or ing to the word, and you'll hear if it sounds right or not. So you've got wake, wakes, waking or woke, but it's present tense. I something up very early to the sound of my alarm. I wake up very early. I wakes up very early. No, that sounds wrong. I waking up very early. I woke up. No, we don't want past tense. It must be I wake up. So you've got to fill in the missing, go through and highlight the correct word and then go back and fill in the missing gap, write the word on the line.